Emily Thompson sat in her quiet living room in suburban Chicago, staring at the empty armchair where her husband Robert used to read the newspaper every morning. It had been 3 months since the heart attack took him at 62, leaving her a widow at 58. The house felt like a tomb now, echoes of their 35 years together bouncing off the walls. Robert had been her rock, a hard-working mechanic who fixed cars by day and fixed her heart every night with his goofy jokes and warm hugs. They'd raised one son, Jason, now 32, and living downtown with his flashy girlfriend in a condo they couldn't really afford. Jason had always been ambitious, but lately, it bordered on ruthless. He worked in sales, chasing commissions like a dog after a bone, but his visits home were rare. When he did show up, it was usually to check on things, which meant eyeing the old Ford Mustang in the garage. Robert's pride and joy, a '67 classic he'd restored himself. Emily drove it sparingly, but it was her link to Robert, smelling of oil and his aftershave. That Saturday, Jason burst in unannounced, his suit crisp and his smile too wide. "Mom, I've got news. I sold the car." Emily's coffee mug slipped from her hand, shattering on the hardwood floor. "You what? That was your father's car. Mine now. How could you?" Jason shrugged, leaning against the counter like it was no big deal. "Come on, Mom. It's just sitting there gathering dust. I got a great price, 15 grand. We can use it for bills. You're not driving much anyway." But Emily knew better. Jason had been hinting at money troubles, his gambling habit from college creeping back. She felt a pang in her chest, not just grief, but betrayal. Robert had warned her about Jason's impulsiveness. As Jason rambled about investing the cash, Emily's mind raced to the glove box. Robert had stashed something there years ago, whispering it was insurance against tough times. She'd never looked, trusting him completely. Now, with the car gone, panic set in. Who bought it? Some stranger from an online ad Jason posted? Emily demanded details, but Jason waved her off. "Relax, Mom. It's done. Guy's picking it up tomorrow." That night, alone in bed, tears soaked her pillow. Robert's death had shattered her world, and now Jason was chipping away at the pieces. But if that glove box held what she suspected, old family documents, maybe even cash, Jason had no idea the storm he'd unleashed. Emily wiped her eyes, resolve hardening. She wouldn't let this slide. Tomorrow, she'd fight back, starting with tracking that buyer. Grief fueled her anger, turning sorrow into a quiet fire. Jason thought he was helping himself, but he'd just awakened a mother's wrath. The next morning, Emily paced the kitchen, her robe cinched tight against the autumn chill seeping through the windows. Jason arrived early with the buyer, a burly guy named Mike from across town towing a trailer. They loaded the Mustang without a word to her, Jason pocketing the check like it was his payday. "See, Mom? Easy money," he said, kissing her cheek before speeding off in his BMW. Emily stood in the driveway, watching her last tangible piece of Robert vanish down the street. It felt like losing him all over again. She collapsed on the couch, memories flooding back. Robert had been diagnosed with heart issues 5 years ago, but he'd powered through, always tinkering in the garage. One evening, after a heated argument with Jason over loans Robert had given him, her husband pulled her aside. "Em, if anything happens to me, check the glove box. It's got something important." His eyes were serious, no jokes that time. Emily had nodded, assuming it was life insurance papers or savings bonds. But now, with Jason's betrayal fresh, She wondered if it was more, something to protect her from their son's greed. Jason called later, voice chipper. Mom, deposited the money in your account, minus my finder's fee, of course. Emily's blood boiled. Finder's fee? That car was mine. He laughed it off. Just kidding. But seriously, you need to downsize. I'm looking out for you. Looking out for himself, more like. Emily hung up, her hands shaking. She grabbed her laptop, searching for the buyer's info from the ad Jason mentioned. Mike's number was easy to find on Craigslist. She dialed, heart pounding. Hello? Mike's gruff voice answered. Emily explained who she was, voice cracking. Please, sir, before you do anything with the car, check the glove box. There's something personal in there, Mike paused. Lady, I just bought it fair and square. But, all right, I'll look. Minutes felt like hours until he called back. Found an envelope, sealed, addressed to Emily Thompson only. Want me to mail it? Relief washed over her, mixed with curiosity. No, I'll come get it. Where are you? Driving her old Honda to Mike's shop in the suburbs, Emily's mind raced. What could it be? Proof of Jason's debts? Or worse? Mike handed over the envelope. No questions asked. Sorry about your loss, ma'am. Back home, she slit it open with trembling fingers. Inside, a letter from Robert, dated a year ago, and a USB drive. The letter read, My dear Em, if you're reading this, I'm gone. Jason's in trouble, deeper than we thought. The drive has evidence. Use it wisely. Love you forever. Emily plugged it in, files popping up. Bank statements, emails, photos. Jason had been embezzling from Robert's auto shop, forging signatures to fund his lifestyle. Thousands gone. Her son's betrayal ran deeper than the car. Tears fell, but so did a plan. Revenge wasn't just emotional, it was necessary. She'd confront him, but first, gather her strength. Emily spent the afternoon poring over the USB files, her laptop screen illuminating the dim dining room. The evidence was damning. Scanned checks Jason had cashed under false pretenses, emails to shady lenders, even photos of him at casinos with stacks of chips. Robert had known for months, confronting Jason privately, but the son promised to change. Instead, he doubled down, draining accounts until Robert's stress likely contributed to his fatal heart attack. Emily's grief twisted into rage. Her husband had protected her from this, even in death. She called her best friend Sarah, a retired lawyer from their book club. Em, this is fraud. We can press charges, Sarah said over coffee that evening. But Emily hesitated. Jason was her flesh and blood. The boy she'd raised through little league and high school heartbreaks. Yet, selling the car without consent. That was the final straw. I want him to feel it, Sarah. Not just legally, emotionally. They brainstormed, deciding to start with a family meeting. Emily texted Jason, come over tomorrow. Important. Jason arrived Sunday afternoon, tie loosened, looking hungover. What's up, Mom? You okay? Emily led him to the table, the USB drive beside her. Sit down, son. She slid Robert's letter across. Jason's face paled as he read. Dad wrote this? What's on the drive? Emily's voice steadied. Proof you've been stealing from us for years. Thousands, Jason. Dad knew when it killed him. Jason stammered. It was loans. I'd pay back. Business was slow. Lies. Emily showed him the files, watching his confidence crumble. You sold the car to cover your tracks, didn't you? Thought the evidence was gone. Jason's eyes widened. How'd you get this? She explained Mike's kindness. The envelope's rescue. Jason buried his face in his hands. Mom, I'm sorry. I was desperate, gambling debts piled up. Emily felt a twinge of pity, but betrayal outweighed it. Desperate. You let your father die worried sick. Tears streamed down her face, but she held firm. I'm giving you a chance. Pay back every cent, get help for your addiction, or I go to the police. Jason nodded frantically, promising change, but Emily wasn't done. That night alone, she copied the files to a cloud drive, safe from his reach. Revenge simmered, not destruction, but accountability. She'd monitor him, ensure he rebuilt what he'd broken. Yet deep down, she knew trust was shattered. Robert's secret had armed her, turning a widow's vulnerability into power. As she drifted to sleep, Emily whispered to her husband's photo, "Thank you, Rob. I've got this." The Glovebox mystery had unveiled not just secrets, but her own strength. Tomorrow, the real work began. Healing the family, or letting Jason face the consequences alone. Monday morning brought a crisp fall breeze through Emily's open window, but her resolve was steel. Jason had left the night before, swearing he'd make amends, starting with buying back the car money. But Emily wasn't naive. She'd seen his patterns: charm, promises, then relapse. Sarah advised documenting everything, so Emily met with a financial advisor downtown, printing out the USB evidence for safekeeping. "Mrs. Thompson, this could be grounds for disinheritance if there's a will," the advisor said. Robert's official will left everything to Emily, with Jason as secondary beneficiary. But the secret files changed the game. Back home, Emily dug through old boxes in the attic, finding more clues. Robert's journal entries about Jason's deceptions. One page gutted her. "Jason's killing me slowly with worry." Em must never know the full extent. Her husband had shielded her, but now she carried the torch. That afternoon, Jason called. "Mom, I transferred the 15,000 and I'm enrolling in Gamblers Anonymous." Good start, but Emily pressed. "Prove it. Send proof." He did, emailing session details. Yet suspicion lingered. To test him, Emily invited Jason for dinner that week. He arrived with flowers, apologetic eyes. "I missed that too, Mom. I screwed up big time." Over pot roast, Robert's favorite, they talked. Jason confessed more. Debts to loan sharks, near eviction. The car sale was panic. I thought it'd buy time. Emily nodded, but inside, anger flared. Time at my expense. She revealed another file. A forged signature on a home equity loan application. Jason blanched. "I didn't submit it, but the intent was there." As dessert wrapped, Emily laid out terms. Monthly repayments, therapy, no more secrets. Or I expose it all. To your boss, your girlfriend, everyone. Jason agreed, signing a makeshift contract Sarah drafted. It felt like revenge, stripping his facade, forcing vulnerability. But emotional, absolutely. Watching her son squirm mirrored her pain from Robert's loss. Later, Emily visited Robert's grave at Oakwood Cemetery, leaves crunching underfoot. He knows now, Rob, and he's paying. A weight lifted, but scars remained. The Glovebox had been a Pandora's box, releasing truths that redefined their family. Jason texted that night. "Thanks for the second chance, Mom," she replied curtly. "Earn it." Revenge wasn't flashy. No cops, no lawsuits yet. But subtle, eroding his entitlement like rust on that old Mustang. Emily slept better, dreaming of Robert's smile. The story wasn't over. Jason's redemption hung by a thread. If he slipped, she'd cut it without remorse. Weeks turned into months, and Emily watched Jason like a hawk from her cozy Chicago home. He attended meetings, sent repayment checks, even helped with yard work on weekends. "Mom, I'm turning it around," he'd say, sweat on his brow from raking leaves. Emily smiled politely, but the USB drive stayed backed up, a silent threat. The emotional toll lingered. Holidays without Robert felt hollow, amplified by Jason's past sins. Thanksgiving dinner was tense. Jason's girlfriend absent after learning the truth. "She bailed," he admitted. Good riddance, Emily thought. One evening, Jason confessed fully over coffee. "Dad confronted me last year. I begged for time, but I blew it." Tears fell. Real ones. Emily's heart softened slightly. "Your father loved you despite it all. That's why he hid the evidence, to give you a chance." But she added, "Don't waste it." Jason nodded, hugging her tightly. It was the first genuine embrace since Robert's funeral. Revenge evolved into restoration. Emily used some repaid money for therapy herself, processing grief and betrayal. Sarah praised her. "You're strong, Em." Not many would handle it this way. Indeed, the Glovebox secret had empowered her, turning victim to victor. When Jason landed a stable job, no sales gimmicks, Emily felt a spark of pride. "Dad would be proud," she told him. But the ultimate twist came springtime. Digging through more of Robert's things, Emily found a hidden note in his toolbox. "Em, if Jason reforms, give him this." Attached, coordinates to a storage unit. Inside, vintage car parts worth thousands. Robert's secret stash for retirement. Emily debated, then invited Jason. "Your dad left you a note." Jason's eyes widened at the haul. "I can sell these, pay you back faster." But Emily set rules. Half to charity, half to debts. He agreed, gratitude shining. As they loaded the parts, Jason said, "Mom, selling the car was the dumbest thing." "I'm sorry." Emily hugged him. Forgiven, but not forgotten. The revenge was complete. Not destruction, but growth forced through truth. Robert's legacy lived on, Glovebox mystery closing the chapter. Now, Emily drives a new car, windows down, feeling free. Jason visits often, bonds mending. The emotional journey, from loss to fury to healing, reshaped them. In quiet moments, she thanks Robert silently. His final gift wasn't just evidence, but a path to redemption. Life moved forward, scars fading like tire tracks in the rain. And if Jason ever slipped again? The files waited, her quiet insurance. Thank you so much for watching this story till the end. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe even learned something from it. If you'd like to hear more stories like this, full of life lessons, drama, and emotions, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss an update. Your support means the world, and it helps me keep bringing you more inspiring and unforgettable stories. Stay tuned because more amazing stories are on the way.